In the heart of the decaying metropolis, the old mall stood as a crumbling monument to a forgotten era. Broken glass littered the floor, and twisted metal beams jutted out like the bones of a long-dead giant. The neon signs flickered weakly, casting an eerie glow over the desolate landscape. This arena for the next round of the ultimate Coinmania Royal, and the stage was set for an epic confrontation. John Changer, once a brilliant scientist, now a master of chaotic metamorphosis, entered the mall with a determined stride. His eyes glowed with a mixture of intelligence and unpredictable energy, his presence commanding and otherworldly. From the shadows, Rebecca Sinclair, known as Coin Craze, emerged, her eyes locked onto John with a fanatical intensity. She clutched a coin tightly in her hand, a symbol of her obsession with the enigmatic leader of the collectors. "John Changer," she called out, her voice echoing through the empty corridors. "You may have survived the lab explosion, but you won't survive me." John smiled grimly, his hands already crackling with energy. "Let's see if you can back up those words, Coin Craze." With a burst of speed, Rebecca hurled the coin at John, its edge glinting menacingly. John dodged effortlessly, the coin embedding itself in a wall behind him. In an instant, he retaliated, sending a wave of transmutative energy towards Rebecca. She somersaulted out of the way, her movements agile and precise. The battle raged through the mall, their powers clashing in a spectacular display. John altered the very structure of the environment, transforming broken tiles into deadly spikes and twisted metal into serpentine chains. Rebecca countered with her own abilities, using her coins to deflect his attacks and creating barriers of shimmering energy. "You can't win, Rebecca," John shouted, his voice reverberating through the mall. "Your obsession blinds you." Rebecca's eyes blazed with fury. "I don't need to see clearly to defeat you, John." With a fierce cry, she unleashed a torrent of coins, each one imbued with destructive force. John raised his hands, creating a swirling vortex that absorbed the attack. He then thrust his arms forward, releasing the accumulated energy in a devastating blast. Rebecca was caught in the explosion, thrown backward into a pile of rubble. Breathing heavily, she struggled to her feet, her body battered but her spirit unbroken. John approached her slowly, his eyes filled with a mixture of pity and resolve. "It's over, Rebecca," he said softly. "This is your end." Rebecca's defiance flared one last time. "Never." John raised his hand, and a surge of energy enveloped Rebecca. She screamed as her form began to change, her body reshaping against her will. Her limbs elongated, her features softened, and her intellect faded. In moments, Rebecca Sinclair, the fierce and driven Coin Craze, was no more. In her place stood a busty, vacant-eyed bimbo, her mind forever trapped in a state of shallow contentment. John lowered his hand, the energy dissipating. He looked down at the transformed Rebecca, a pang of regret tugging at his heart. But he couldn't afford to dwell on it. He had won this round of the ultimate Coinmania Royal, and there were more battles to come. Turning away, John Changer left the old mall behind, his silhouette fading into the shadows. Rebecca, now a prisoner of her own altered form, watched him go, her thoughts empty and her destiny sealed. The mall, once a symbol of human ambition, now testament to the unpredictable and often cruel nature of power.